What to do in Rio de Janeiro in 3 days. Three days will surely be too short a time to explore the land of samba, Yogo Bonito, the home of Pelé, the girls with sculpted bodies, the Maracana, Flamengo, Botafogo, Vasco da Gama, and Fluminense. This picturesque, gigantic city, divided between a beach destination and a cosmopolitan city, makes it easy to feel like you're living on vacation every day. But if you only have 3 days to explore, I'll tell you how you can organize your itinerary and give you a few tips to avoid the mistakes I made and make your stay in this beautiful city more enjoyable. And this brings me to my first travel tip: transportation. In Brazil, you can get around by Uber without any problem. It's easy to request a service and it's relatively inexpensive, as the distances are quite long and the fares are very affordable. I recommend downloading the App 99 app, which is usually cheaper than Uber, and has the advantage of working as an auction. This is where the app differs from Uber, as it can be more profitable, since you as a user receive a suggested fare for the trip from available drivers. However, you can offer a lower price for the service until you find a driver who accepts your offer. Regardless of the transportation service you choose, you can take it on the second floor of the airport, where there is also a food court and restrooms if you need them. It's also very important to know that the airport has free unlimited Wi-Fi, something that is still not the norm in airports around the world, which is why I give Rio de Janeiro International Airport 10 points. However, once you leave the airport, you'll be left without an internet connection if you don't have an eSIM for your trip. That's why I recommend purchasing your unlimited data eSIM from Holafly before leaving the country, so you stay connected throughout your trip to Rio de Janeiro. Also, by clicking the link in the description of this video, you'll receive a 5% discount on your purchase when you use the code DEVIAJESONMILETUS. On our first day, we decided to walk along Rio de Janeiro's famous beaches and enjoy the sun, which we hadn't seen in all its splendor for many days, and relax a bit. Although Copacabana and Ipanema are two adjacent beaches right next to each other, there is a slight difference in the atmosphere when you walk between them. Copacabana is a bit more popular and tends to be busier, while Ipanema is a bit more exclusive and seems a bit calmer than Copacabana. But you should keep in mind that prices also increase as you head further toward Ipanema Beach. And this really isn't surprising. Ipanema is considered one of the most exclusive, luxurious, and expensive neighborhoods in all of Brazil. My recommendation is to start the walk in Copacabana and end in Ipanema. It's a walk of about 45 minutes to an hour and is quite pleasant. You can enjoy the scenery, see beautiful tan people jogging, skating, or cycling along the bike path, and watch people playing beach sports like foot volley, which, by the way, I wasn't sure what it was called and had to look it up. Well, when we arrived in Ipanema, and since it was my birthday, we decided to look for something delicious and special to eat for lunch. So we went to a place called Céu de Ipanema. Wow, we thought it was a great place with great food, music, a view of Morro dos Irmãos, which are two beautiful mountains that can be seen in the background of the beach, and a beachy atmosphere that makes you feel like you're truly experiencing Rio de Janeiro or the Rio de Janeiro experience. In addition to all these advantages, the restaurant is apparently the only one in the area that has its own bathroom for visitors, which really gives it a huge plus. In Rio de Janeiro, the beaches are separated and identified by numbers, and this place is located on beach number 8, so you can recognize it. We found it very interesting that the beach has a good number of public restrooms, with their respective showers and services to clean up after enjoying the sand and the sea, which is a very positive point for tourists. We also thought it was very cool that there are beaches designated as gay-friendly, which you can recognize by the rainbow flags waving along the beachfront. The beaches are numbered, so you can identify them by numbers 5, 6, and 7. In the afternoon, our plan was to visit the Sugarloaf mountain, this mountain with a very particular shape and very emblematic of Rio de Janeiro, of which there are many theories about where its name comes from. And the most popular story explains that between the years 1500 and 1800, sugarcane production in the country was at its peak, and at that time blocks of sugar were stacked in a shape very similar to that of this mountain. Apparently, that's how the name of this popular natural rock formation originated, And since we're talking about Sugarloaf Mountain, I'm going to give you another travel tip that will be very useful. The best time to climb this mountain. The best time to climb Sugarloaf Mountain is between 3:30 and 4 p.m. To have a leisurely hike and catch the sunset on the second mountain you take during the hike, where you'll have the best view to witness the sunset, since the Sugarloaf Mountain hike is made up of 2 different mountains. That is, to reach the summit, you must take a cable car that will take you to Euchre Hill, where there is a balcony you can walk around and also offers a beautiful view of the city. There you must take a second cable car that will take you to the top of Sugarloaf Mountain. It's extremely important to bring a jacket, a windbreaker, because even though the weather is warm enough to wear shorts and a t-shirt, at this altitude the temperature drops dramatically and it feels quite cold at nightfall. But it's nothing a simple windbreaker can't counteract. And being able to stay here after nightfall is a great idea, because after watching the sunset at the top of the mountain, there's a restaurant and bar called Classico Sunset Bar, a place where you can finish your hike with a couple of beers and dinner. This place offers mostly fast food, but I think they prepare it quite well. And you can do it while enjoying a nighttime view of Rio de Janeiro at 396 meters above sea level. Something truly worth enjoying. And we begin our second day of the trip. For this second day, we're going to visit Parque Lage, or Lage Park. I don't know how it's actually pronounced in Portuguese. Well, I didn't want to be left wondering, nor did I want you all to be saying outrageous things in Rio de Janeiro. So I took the time to Google it, and this is how it's pronounced.
Parque Lage, Parque Lage,
And after this educational capsule, let's continue with the trip blog.
Parque Lage,
It's a free public park that is considered a historical and cultural heritage site for the city of Rio de Janeiro. This park is located at the foothills of Corcovado Mountain, across the street from the Botanical Garden. Parque Lage is a small natural jungle where you can spot animals like opossums, monkeys, raccoons, and more. It's truly worth exploring, so I highly recommend bringing mosquito repellent, because depending on the season, you're likely to encounter mosquitoes here. Inside the park, there's a cafe called Café Plage. This cafe has become quite popular because it's a highly Instagrammable spot thanks to the imposing architecture of the Lage Palace. Additionally, you can even get a glimpse of Corcovado Mountain in the background if you use a wide-angle lens. For this reason, the place has become very crowded, and huge lines form to get in. But don't worry, I'm going to give you a very important travel tip for visiting this place. As soon as you arrive, check into the cafe called Plage or Plage Cafe. You'll have plenty of time to tour the park while you wait for your turn to enter the cafe, as the wait time is quite long. It averages an hour and a half. This way you can enjoy your visit at leisure while waiting for your turn to enter the cafe, maximizing your visit time. Reservations are not available at this cafe. Public admission is only granted on a first-come, first-served basis. A member of the cafe's team will send you a WhatsApp message to let you know you're next on the list, allowing you to enjoy your visit at leisure. It's important to know that the cafe is open Tuesday through Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. There is also a free museum on site just before entering the cafe, but you can't get in without booking online at least a week before your visit. Reservations are not available on site, so I recommend that if you also want to access the museum during your visit, make sure to make a reservation at least a week before your trip. Unfortunately, after waiting about an hour and a half, it was time to enter Café Plage, and we had to leave without knowing it, without taking the famous Instagrammable photo everyone wants, Corcovado Mountain. Although you might think Parque Lage is very close to Corcovado Mountain, the journey there is quite a while, as you have to go around the entire rock where the mountain is located to reach the ticket office for the funicular to the top of Corcovado Mountain. It's important to arrive with plenty of time to avoid any inconveniences. And for your visit to Corcovado Mountain, I want to give you a very special travel tip. Seats on the funicular are private and people choose their seats as they board. I recommend sitting on the right side of the funicular when getting on and on the left side when getting off. This way you'll get the best view of the city on both rides. I also recommend getting on around 4 p.m. This way you'll have the best light of the day to take photos with Christ the Redeemer. Since around 4:30 p.m. you'll have the best lighting conditions for your photographs. This is because the sun begins to set just behind Corcovado Mountain, giving you a perspective and a resplendent light right behind Christ, which makes it quite special and quite photogenic. It gives it that glow that makes it look particularly imposing. Once at the top, the plan is basically to walk around the viewing balcony to see the city from different angles. Take photos with Christ, or at least try to while hundreds of people cross your paths, and visit the small shrine located in front of the monument. The entire hike, including the ascent and descent of Corcovado Mountain, lasts approximately 1 hour and 45 minutes. By the time you return from your hike up Corcovado Mountain, it will likely be nighttime, and you'll be quite hungry after hiking for many hours. And here I want to give you another very important travel tip for you to keep in mind. The vast majority of restaurants in Rio de Janeiro are closed on Mondays, so dining out can become a big problem. Very few restaurants open on Mondays in Rio de Janeiro. Luckily, we found a place called Mosca open, which turned out to be a great and delicious surprise. It's a Mediterranean restaurant with a very cool atmosphere and great service. I highly recommend it. Day 3. For the third day of our itinerary, we plan to visit to the Escadaria Celeron, or the Celeron Steps, which is one of the most Instagrammable and most visited spots in this city. And precisely because it's one of the most visited places in Rio de Janeiro, I'm going to give you some very important travel tips that I want you to keep in mind when traveling. To avoid any inconveniences, the first travel tip is to get up very early. You should be there between 6 and 6:30 in the morning. If you want to have the place to yourself and take some good pictures, otherwise you'll have to deal with streams of tourists going up and down the stairs all day long. And the truth is, it's very difficult to enjoy the place and appreciate the hundreds of thousands of details found in the 215 steps of this living work created by Chilean artist Jorge Celeron, whose construction began in 1990. The second travel tip I want to give you is to please remember to bring your insect repellent when you visit the Celeron stairs. Despite being an urban location in downtown Rio de Janeiro, there are water reservoirs along the stairs that mosquitoes love to visit. And obviously, the tourists who arrive are fresh food for them to munch on. So if you don't want to have a bad time, please don't do what I did. I trusted that it was an urban location and went without my insect repellent. And obviously, our legs were bitten terribly. After visiting the Celeron Steps and taking your photos, take advantage of being downtown to visit the Metropolitan Cathedral of São Sebastião, which boasts a rather unique architecture. So much so that it can go unnoticed by tourists because it doesn't have the classic shape of a conventional church. Also, taking advantage of being downtown, you can visit the Lapa Arches, the largest and most important colonial structure in all of Brazil, through which the Rio de Janeiro city tram still runs. Its official name is the Aqueduct of La Carioca, and as its name suggests, it is an aqueduct with a Roman architectural style. After our visit downtown, we headed to the famous and legendary Maracana Stadium, a visit that I consider a must-see, even if you're not the biggest soccer fanatic. So you don't have the same problems we had getting to this place, I'll give you another travel tip. It's how you should search for it in the transportation app you use, whether it's the one I recommended at the beginning of the App 99 video or Uber. If you type Maracana Stadium on the map when requesting your ride, the stop it will show you is quite far from tourist access. And believe me, trying to explain to the driver, if you don't speak Portuguese, that this isn't the stop you're looking for is going to be quite complicated. The way you should enter your destination in the transportation app when you go to the Maracana Stadium is Tour Maracana, or search for Mario Fino Stadium. Those are the two ways you should enter your destination in the app so you get to the right place. There you can take a very entertaining tour through the history of Brazilian soccer, see and touch the material of the jerseys worn by the Auriverde national team over the years, and enter the stadium stands to take pictures. After your visit to the Maracana, you can head to Aquarium, considered the largest marine aquarium in all of South America, with a built-up area of approximately 26,000 square meters. Wow, it's a very entertaining and educational tour where you can see all kinds of marine species. If you're visiting Rio with children, this place is a must-see on your list. The tour takes approximately 1 hour and 15 minutes. That's if you don't include the Sea of Mirrors and the Wax Museum, which are two other attractions located in the exact same location, but are optional and have an additional cost. So I'll leave it up to you if you want to enter these two sites. We didn't, and I don't think we really needed to. And finally, optionally, if you wish, you can include a visit to the Amana Museum in your tour. In Spanish, it means Museum of Tomorrow, a neo-futuristic science museum located in Rio de Janeiro, which you can walk to from Aquarium in just 20 minutes. We didn't get to enter the museum, but we did walk there from the Aquarium. From the outside, its architecture is quite striking and unique, making it a very interesting and beautiful spot for taking photos, so I highly recommend it. And so ends our 3-day tour of Rio de Janeiro. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope the advice I give you is very useful so you don't make the same mistakes I made, and that the things we did right can help you have a more comfortable, calmer, and more enjoyable trip. If you like this video, please click the bell, subscribe, and don't miss any of the videos in which I'll be telling you how you can make your trips much more enjoyable and fun. Bye-bye.